Hello and welcome to the Driving in Wyoming podcast. This is Aaron Turpin from AaronOnAutos.com. Today we're going to talk about the 2013 Nissan Sentra SL. The Sentra SL is a well-designed and nice driving small car that brings no surprises to the table. In this market, that's actually a selling point, and for the money, it's hard to beat what the Sentra has to offer. The base price for the new Sentra is $15,990 plus destination. As tested, we drove the top fit model, which comes in at $22,400 plus destination. It's an interesting price range, and it's considered entry-level for small cars. But at that low top-level price, it's hard to imagine why anyone would buy it in a lower trim level. The Sentra, of course, is a smaller sibling to the Altima, but is big brother to the Nissan Versa. The Versa is a very compact and likable little car, whereas the Altima is a very, very refined and well-built mid-size sedan. The Sentra fits somewhere between those two. It's a little bit fun and very comfortable and practical. It's powered by a 1.8-liter dual overhead cam inline-4, and this is a capable new generation power plant that's based on the previous 2-liter engine. It has a power output of about 130 horsepower and 128 pound-feet of torque. It goes through a new generation Xtronic CVT or continuously variable transmission. Nissan has perfected these transmissions. They are very, very well done. There's a base option called the FE Plus. This is the fuel economy trim, and it comes standard with a 6-speed manual transmission, or you can get the CVT as an option. It's very likely that you will actually get better mileage out of the CVT than you will out of a manual transmission. The CVT is standard on all trim levels except for the FE+. For the 2013 model year, Nissan gave the Sentra a full redesign, and it really shows here. Compared to the previous model, the 2013 Sentra has a much more roomy interior and is far more fuel efficient. Sadly, though, for enthusiasts, they put the kibosh on the SER and SER Spec 5 performance packages. That's not surprising because they did not sell well, but they had a core fan base that's going to be disappointed they're no longer there. For Wyoming drivers, what will really matter with the Sentra outside of how useful it is the fact that it gets 39 miles per gallon on the highway in eco mode. In our week-long testing of this car, it was very easy to achieve that in eco mode on the freeway or on the Albin Highway even. The city miles per gallon is 30, whereas the combined miles per gallon is 34. Most Wyoming drivers can expect to get closer to that 39 number than to that 30 number due to the way that we drive here. One thing to note, though, is that when you do put it in eco mode, it is kind of boring to drive. It has no oomph, no interest, and is just very, very sluggish. It does have a sport mode, and these are push-button on-the-fly switches. So you can put it into sport mode for those freeway on-ramps, for accelerating on the highway, and so forth. You'll lose some fuel economy doing that. I was losing a consistent 2 or 3 miles to the gallon most of the time when I did do that. But because it's hot swappable, because it's a hot button, you can just switch it back to eco mode once you're up to speed and cruising. That sport mode button is very nice to have, simply because it makes the Sentra unboring. It takes away the boring factor, makes it kind of fun. On the exterior, the restyling of the 2013 Sentra is in line with the lineup now at Nissan. It's very sharp. It looks like a smaller Altima if you're familiar with the cars in the lineup. I drove it around town here in Pine Bluffs and got a lot of compliments from people. They really like the look of this car. It's just very standout. It has a great look to it. That's especially true in this SL trim, which includes the chrome package around the windows, the chrome door handles, and so forth. Those really add a lot of bling to this car without going over the top. And at a price point that's under $23,000, I really don't understand why anybody would not want to add that. Inside, it's great as well. The car is about 2 inches longer and has lost about 150 pounds. Sure would be nice if we could do that, wouldn't it? All of that extra length in the car went into expanding that interior. It's a very smart, intelligent interior space now. The rear seat is a true 3-person bench, and it has plenty of legroom and is much roomier. In fact, we had 2 car seats in there, and there was still room in the center for another person. In the front seats, leg room, shoulder room, and hip room have expanded. This makes it a much more comfortable highway driver. So when you're sitting, you can kind of spread out a little bit. You feel a lot more comfortable in this car. From the outside, it looks small. Once you get in, it looks much larger than it is. It's a very well done interior. The trunk, of course, since this is a Nissan, is gigantic. Here in Wyoming, that's important because we tend to do our shopping in weekly and bi-weekly chunks rather than daily like a lot of city folk. Key competition for the 2013 Nissan Sentra includes the 2013 Honda Civic, Hyundai Elantra, Ford Focus, and Mazda 3. The Civic and Elantra are well-rounded but kind of boring cars. They pit well against the Sentra and for the large part they sell better than it does, but they're kind of sedate vehicles. On the other hand, the Focus and the Mazda 3 are very sporty cars. They lose a lot of their practicality, but they have a ton of fun factor. The Sentra is a nice entry in this segment because it fits somewhere between those two extremes. It's not boring, but it's not too fun either. It's practical and fun. It's a great combination. It also has more premium appeal than most of these other cars, although the 2014 models of the Mazda 3 and Focus may change that a little bit. The strong points for this car is that the interior is very comfortable. It's one of the roomier cars in this segment and gives an overall impression of being much larger than it really is. It's a smooth and comfortable ride as well. Considering that this segment is mostly known for boring and forgettable cars, and for the other extreme, those sporty and practical vehicles, the Sentra is a great mixture of both. On the weak side, though, it's not nearly as fun to drive as some cars, and because Nissan had to cut back a little bit in order to promote that massive fuel economy this car gets. It's also a little bit loud inside compared to some of the other cars, but not so bad that it's really going to hurt your buying decision, I would think. Overall, it's a very well-designed car and gives a good mix of practicality and fun. The 2013 Nissan Sentra SL is very well appointed, and it's just muscular enough to avoid being boring, and brings a lot of great style. It's a great everyday car for Wyoming drivers, is a good front-wheel drive, and will get you just about anywhere you want to go. For the Driving in Wyoming podcast, this is Aaron Turpin from AaronOnAutos.com. We'll talk to you again soon.